Morning, guys. We're going to talk about a vehicle issue that I'm having on a 2009 Subaru Forester. And I want to just show you how I ID'd the car because I just want to remind you of where the VIN plate is in the door jamb and the underhood sticker. Also, the model of the car isn't listed on the back of the car, and I'll show you what I did to find that. So first, if you come over here to the car and you look here, you can see this. You can see if it focuses. Hopefully it will. Sometimes it has trouble, doesn't it? Okay, it's not focusing, and I don't know why, but it's an 09 of 08. So that means it's a 2009 Forester. And there's the VIN number there. Sorry about the not focusing so well. I'm not quite sure why it's misbehaving this morning. I do want to remind you of the emissions label. And again, if it decides to focus, let's see if it'll focus on me. Yep, there it goes on me. There it goes on the emissions label. Okay, so it says 2009 model year up there in the, there it is. 2009 model year. So it definitely is a 2009. What I would like to show you is here's the scenario I've got. It didn't show me which model it was, and so what I did was I went over to ProDemand and I put the VIN number, and I just dropped the camera. Lovely. Hopefully you can still see. Put the VIN number in, and it came up 09 Subaru Forester 2.5 liter engine X premium, which is the correct vehicle. And so that essentially what I'm saying is by going to ProDemand, it gave me the vehicle. So now I know it's an X model because there were several choices in ProDemand. So here's the issue that we're having. It was brought in because it was running really, really rough. Okay, super, super rough. And the mill was on. Mill is malfunction indicator lamp. We call it check engine light. On this engine, or on this vehicle, on the dash is yellow and it says check engine. Remember, it's yellow because it's an emissions failure. It's a non-critical malfunction. It means there's an emissions failure. In this case, the emissions failure is because we had a dead miss, and we put in the scan tool and got a P0304, which is misfire cylinder 4. Subarus are notorious for misfires on cylinder 4 because of tight exhaust valves. I did a compression test. It was about 180 psi, which is great. The spark plug wire was oil soaked, and I'll grab it for you here. Spark plug wire and spark plug were both very oil soaked, and that tells me that the valve cover gasket weld tube seal here is leaking. And so I knew it needed valve cover gaskets, and I was pretty sure the misfire was because of that. Replaced the plug and wire, didn't fix it, and then went to the coil and found the coil terminal for number 4 was burned. Replaced the coil because it definitely looked bad, and it did not fix it. But I want to show you a couple things so you can say, Mr. Earl, you didn't diagnose very well. And you're right. Cruise light flashing and TPMS light was flashing. So the customer said, hey, the car's running really rough. There's all these lights. Well, this one was because of the misfire. The cruise light flashes on the Subaru. Anytime you have a misfire that's going to hurt the catalytic converter, it goes into a limp home mode and it flashes the cruise control and won't let you turn the cruise control on. It's just trying to say to you, pay attention to that check engine light. Again, it's technically called a mill, but we normally call it check engine light. The TPMS light was flashing, totally unrelated. The TPMS is on because there's an issue with one of the tires or one of the tire sensors. Okay, let me set this aside. So next, so I go, okay, great. Well, did a little research. I'm like, all right, they're notorious for number 4 exhaust valves getting tight and causing a misfire at idle, which it definitely is misfiring, dead miss at idle, but off idle it seemed like it was running okay. It's kind of weird. Compression was good. Listen to the injector, was flashing good. So I said to myself, well, I know that it's got spark plug weld tube seals leaking, so if I go after the valve cover and fix the oil leak while I have it off, I can adjust the valves and maybe I'll find the problem. But So when I did that, or when I went to do that yesterday, I have to take the motor mounts loose and lift the engine up to get that valve cover out of there. And I have the valve cover here on the bench. There's the valve cover there, got it off. I pulled the cam cover off on that side to line the timing marks up with the crank and the cam so I could get it on top dead center to adjust the valves, and lo and behold, the cam timing is off. Let me get the engine up to where I had it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the timing mark to the, there it is. Okay, so right now, you can see here the white mark in there. You should be able to see the white mark in there on the timing marks pointing to 0. So there's that little white mark there that I'm pointing to with my finger pointing to 0. So it's at top dead center. And this cam mark right here, and I'll try and get really close to it. This camshaft mark right here, that red mark, I don't know if it's going to focus on it. Probably isn't. It's supposed to be lined up with this notch right here. So the cam timing has moved this far, approximately 40 degrees. So that should be the cause of it. The other thing I noticed is this engine's at 132,000 miles, and I'm pretty sure it's never had a timing belt. So what I decided to do is to go over to ProDemand and show you that I can go to this maintenance category and see the interval for when it's supposed to have a timing belt. And it says automatic or standard. It's got an automatic training. We're going to use this vehicle. And here's our maintenance mileage. So we're going to go over here to 100,000. We're going to try and see what mileage they want a timing belt. So we'll look at 90,000, and it doesn't say a timing belt there. So we'll keep going. And it's going to tell, let's look at 100,000. Still don't see a timing belt being recommended. Okay, just change it to normal driving. Usually they want a timing belt at 90 to 100,000. And this one, we're looking on here to see when they want a timing belt. There it is, right there. Standby Michelin based on OEM patterns. So it's saying it needs a timing belt. They're saying at 120, and this engine's at 132. So the maintenance schedule is saying give this thing a timing belt at 120,000. So actually here they're saying inspect the timing belt. Sorry, they're saying inspect it. And let's see when they say they want it replaced. Let's go back up here. And they're still not showing it being replaced. They're just saying inspect it. And so that's a little scary. Over here at 160, or sorry, at 150, is it 150 or 160? They're saying right here, it was over here, 1 second, give me just a moment here. It says it, oh, that's not what I wanted, 150. It says right here, timing belt, and again, they want it inspected. But this one's at 132, and it's jump time, so it's a little peculiar to me that it's saying, it's not telling you to change the timing belt, which anyone that lets this timing belt go more than 120 is crazy. And it's at 132, and it's jump timing. You can see it plain as day. So what I'm going to do, my strategy will be take the front end apart, replace the timing belt, get it all squared back up, adjust the valves, put the new valve covers on, put the new spark plugs in that definitely needs it, and we should be down the road. Okay, that's it for now.